Welcome to our second annual 9/11 Remembrance event. I'm Janine Heinzman. I'm the Florida ERG chapter lead, and this is Sharon Kerval, the Serve ERG Florida chapter communications lead. So we are very happy that you're here. We gather here today as a remembrance and the Patriots Day, for Patriots Day, and the tragic events that happened 24 years ago on September 11th, 2001. There were thousands of people who lost their lives in the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and Shanksville, Pennsylvania, sorry. We recognize the sacrifice of every hero who responded that day and has actually supported since. Though the years have passed, the lessons remain. Courage endures, community matters, and the human spirit and American patriotism endures. We will never forget. Thank you.
At this moment, I'd like to introduce the great mayor of the city of Palm Bay, Rob Medina.
So in case you were wondering, let me first start by saying thank you for allowing me to serve as mayor of the greatest city on the face of the earth. I truly believe that. So what I was just sharing with Sharon is, aren't we gonna sing the national anthem? So kind of like to set the tone, but what's gonna happen is it's gonna be taken afterwards. But I wanna take us to a place where 24 years ago, what occurred in our nation? 24 years ago, evil swept into the skies and soil of our great nation, the United States of America. In a violent instant, thousands of innocent souls were literally stolen from us. America was suddenly so vulnerable, and our entire nation was left to mourn. The attacks of September 11th were the worst assault on our American homeland and in our country's history. However, I contend it was more than that. They were an attack on our universal ideas of peace, justice, liberty, and human rights that civilized nations like ours embody and strive to uphold each and every day. The September 11 attacks were not only an attack on our people, it was also an attack on the noblest aspirations of all people. The world recognized that these attacks were vicious and unfounded crimes against humanity itself. Our enemy, and I want us all to recognize this, our enemy has no boundaries, neither territory nor morality. This battle is not directed at one country or one religion or at one race, but it's an attack against us all. Each of the lives lost on September 11th had meaning. Each of those lives had a history. And each life had an expectation of a future. It is right and noble that we take this time not only to reflect on those lives, but on our first responders, our firefighters, law enforcement officials, paramedics, and those courageous civilians that ran toward dangers when others ran away. Their bravery, their selflessness, their sacrifice represents the finest aspects of our American character. Even here in Palm Bay, 100 miles from Ground Zero, they're actually memorializing today the events of 9/11 reached into our homes, into our hearts, and continue to affect us all. We were all shaken. We were all grieving, but we also united in a purpose of patriotism, and in the belief that we are strongest when we all stand together. In the face of fear, we found strength. In the face of hate, we chose love. In the midst of tragedy, we held on to each other and we refused to let go. We must never forget the threat did not end in 2001. On September 11th, 2012, our nation faced another horrific attack. This time in Benghazi, Libya, where we lost Ambassador Chris Stevens, Glenn Dougherty, Tyrone Woods, and Sean Smith. These brave Americans died serving our country overseas, protecting American interests and values in one of the most dangerous parts of the world. Their sacrifice is a painful reminder that the global war on terror is not over, and that we cannot afford to grow complacent. We must remain vigilant. We must remain resilient and committed to defending freedom, not only for ourselves, but for future generations. The legacy of those we've lost on our soil and abroad demands nothing less. To each and every one of our first responders, we thank you. Every day you carry the torch for those who came before you. Your service keeps us safe. Your commitment inspires us all. I am reminded for the many men and women that raise their right hand to defend this nation and go take the fight on this global war on terror. Today we just don't honor the fallen, we carry their memory forward. We live with a purpose. We lead with compassion, and we stand with resolve. In adversity, we find our strength. In remembrance, we find our unity. And in that unity, we find our healing. I end with this. To each and every L3Harris employee, what you do for our nation is to be commended. Allow me to encourage you, to inspire you. You are more than just a spoke in the wheel on this global war on terror. You're protecting the lives of our warfighters. You're protecting the lives of our citizens with the technology right here in Palm Bay. We will never forget September 11th. It is our duty, it is our obligation to continue to remind those that were born after that fateful day of what we all experienced, so it never happens again. Keeping our heads on a swivel is a comment that has become our norm. Let us not be complacent and recognize that that enemy knows no boundaries. May God bless you. May God keep you. And may God continue to bless our great city and the nation we call the United States of America. Hoorah!
Next up we have Commander of the JL Go Lightly DAV Chapter 32, Rodney Marine.
Get situated here for a second. Good morning. Let me start by saying I'm honored, humbled to ask to speak again this year at L3Harris. However, if somebody would have told me I had to follow the greatest mayor in the greatest city of Palm Bay, I might have politely declined. But I'm here today. I would like to say this up front. This will not be as good as former Marine Corps veteran Rob Medina. In fact, we had to create the Marines for those who couldn't quite qualify for the 1st Infantry Division. I was in the U.S. Army, part of the 1st Infantry Division, Fort Riley, Kansas, called the Big Red One. A lot of people don't even realize the 1st Infantry Division, known as Big Red One, was formed before the Marine Corps. Rob. All in good humor, folks. I consider Palm Bay Mayor Rob Medina VA caseworker, congressional aide, Posey, now Herodopoulos, Marine Corps veteran. Rob Medina is a very close friend, so I'm allowed to ride him a little bit. But he is just a symbol of somebody that gives everything to his church, to his community, to veterans, to his Marines. He is a true inspiration. And I mean that from the heart. So I'll just say one more thing, one more little jab at Rob. You know, Rob likes to tell me a lot that the Marine Corps was the tip of the spear. And I have to kind of remind Rob every now and then, we don't throw sticks and rocks anymore. We're at L3Harris, one of the greatest technology companies, one of the innovating companies in Palm Bay. We don't throw rocks anymore, Rob. Okay, I'm going to leave Rob alone. Okay, I'm simply trying to bring a little humor as we come together from a very meaningful and somber occasion. Even the events of yesterday, there's some forces out there that seek to divide us again. But we're not going to let that overshadow the events of today, remembering 9/11. This nation must stay united, and it will. Ladies and gentlemen, guests, distinguished guests, fellow veterans, first responders, it is a privilege again to stand before you again this year in the solemn gathering as we honor the memory of September 11, 2001, a day forever marked in Americans' history. Today we pay tribute not only to the 2,977 individuals who lost their lives in the terrorist attacks, but also to the enduring courage that emerged from that tragedy and to the spirit of the service that still binds us together. A lasting legacy of 9/11 is the steadfast dedication of our nation's first responders, the firefighters, the police officers, the EMTs, and military personnel, who continually answer the call to serve, often at great personal risk. More than 400 first responders made the ultimate sacrifice that day, including 343 firefighters and 71 law enforcement officers. As a veteran, I've always felt close connected to our first responders. We're united by a shared commitment to protect and serve, and when it comes to great personal cost. The daily realities faced by our police officers making lightning-fast choices to keep us all safe reflects the same bravery and diligence deeply understood by veterans. Firefighters possess the same spirit of courage, running toward danger, into a burning building, rescue lives to save property. The same heroism mirrors that of veterans willing to risk everything for others amid conflict. Such acts require a particular kind of bravery, and for that, we are profoundly grateful. Let us also remember the families of these courageous men and women. Their spouses and children live each day with the awareness that their loved one may or may not come home, just like our veterans. The strength and resilience shown by these families reveal the depth of the sacrifice our heroes make every day. The shock and deep anxiety we experienced on 9/11 were felt by millions across the country. Yet as confusion reigned, an extraordinary sense of unity emerged, a unity not witnessed since World War II. We stood together as a nation, determined to prevail against those who sought to tear us apart. This year, I wish to highlight a remarkable statistic. Approximately 19% of police officers, 19% of firefighters in the United States are military veterans. Individuals who once wore the nation's uniform, and continue their serve to protecting our communities as first responders. Around 10% of EMTs were also veterans. These numbers reflect the unique sense of duty so many veterans carry forward, remaining unwavering in their commitment to protecting others. As we honor the memory of the 2,977 lost and the countless others affected by the day, let us cherish the legacy of unity and resilience forged in the aftermath. Political differences may divide us, but when we're tested, America always rises to meet the challenge. We remain one nation under God, and our unity will surpass any forces that seek us to pull us apart. I must also recognize the valuable contributions made by the employees of L3Harris Technologies. L3Harris does more than offer careers or jobs. It serves as a trusted partner in our nation's defense. In 2020-25, L3Harris awarded major defense contracts with the United States Army, Rob, for advanced communications, and continues to provide critical technologies, advanced munitions, missile defense, electronic warfare systems, solid rocket motors. Your work ensures our military and first responders have the advanced tools necessary to safeguard America, here and abroad. In this way, you too are among the heroes standing alongside the first responders and the service members we honor today. On September the 11th, and every day since, America Resolve and its innovation has shown the world the true meaning of being one nation under God, indivisibly, with liberty and justice for all. Let us renew our commitment to unity, resilience, and service as we continue to honor the sacrifice of veterans, first responders, their families, and the exceptional Americans that continue to serve at L3Harris. In closing, you may have my personal commitment to continue the DAV VA claims assistance to L3Harris. I know veterans with jobs struggle to get help. You can't get out, you have plenty to do. You're always working overtime. We'll continue the Lunch and Learn program as long as you guys will have us in. So in ending, may God bless you. May God bless our first responders. May God bless our veterans. And may God bless these United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Rodney. I'd like to welcome David, apologize if I mispronounce this, Yanatsis, that's close.
Good morning. I'm David Yanatsis, Vice President of Engineering for Space and Airborne Systems here at L3Harris. We're gathered here to honor the memory of those we lost 24 years ago this morning. I'm going to share a personal story about what that day meant to me because it really had a profound impact on my career. I think anyone of a certain age who lived through that day, and I guess now I'm of a certain age, but will never forget the moments of that day. It's just indelibly printed in our memories. I was a early career mechanical engineer, so just a few years out of college. I was working for a small defense firm in Connecticut. And I had just recently been cleared for access to classified information. I was working on a program that was in a secure compartmented facility that was dedicated to improving our national security. That program would go on to develop technologies that improved the ability of our government to do intelligence collection. But at that point in my career, I was just an engineer trying to make my way through an early part of my career. And because we were in a skiff, there was no connectivity to the outside. Somebody came into the room and told us, hey, there's some events happening in New York City. We were just about an hour away from New York City. I lived just about half an hour outside. I was in Connecticut at that time. My fiance at the time, now my wife of 23 years, because we married the following year, she was in an office building in Manhattan. And coming out, trying to understand what was happening, we were talking a little bit before this event started, the phone connections were very congested. We had the internet. It wasn't the internet we have today, but we had the internet, but we didn't have access to that information. It was just an immediate kind of headline update. And trying to get a hold of our loved ones, trying to get a hold of my wife, trying to get a hold of other people was fraught with fright, and it was very emotional. Fortunately, I was able to get a hold of my wife and understand she was in a safe place. We watched the rest of the events unfold. We watched as the first responders raced into danger and took the first steps as a community for us coming together to recover from this unbelievably heinous act. When I went back and we started to get back into some semblance of, as much as you could think, normalcy, but day to day, and went back to work the next few days. And I walked back into that room, and I walked back into that secure facility, and I walked back into that desktop. It was completely different. I now understood that I was proud to be taking a very small step, and all of my coworkers taking their small steps to help our nation's security, to help our loved ones, to ensure that we stay safe and secure. Work had an entirely new purpose. I am so proud of the work that we do here at L3Harris. The technologies and the capabilities we bring forward every day for our country's security, safety, and freedom for our loved ones. Thank you so much to the first responders, law enforcement, to the veterans here today for your service to our country, for your dedication and sacrifices to keep us safe. And thank you to all of the employees here from L3Harris for dedicating your careers to keeping our country secure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Up next, we have Mr. Ignacio Jamar, and he will be our final speaker for today.
Hello, good morning. I had the privilege of speaking last year as well, and last year I shared that I'm the son of immigrants that moved to the United States of America. It's easy for us to forget the privileges that we have in the great country that we live in. It's easy for us to forget that we are truly blessed to have the opportunity even to gather as we're gathering this morning in remembrance of those who have lost their lives, in remembrance of the events that took place. It's just really, we have to make sure that we take times like this to take in everything that we've gone through as a nation in order that it won't repeat itself. So I've got a few notes. Thank you for gathering here today in this solemn assembly. It's a day of remembrance to honor and reflect the events of September 11, 2001, a day that forever changed our nation, our lives, and our world. On that morning, nearly 2 decades ago, our nation was struck by an unprecedented act of terror. We lost, as we've heard a few times, 2,977 innocent souls. Mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, friends, colleagues, cousins, as I've even heard talking this morning, each with their own unique story and dreams. Today we remember them, and we remember the loved ones whose lives were irreversibly altered. We stand with them and share in their sorrow. That's why this is a solemn assembly. September 11th is not just a somber remembrance, it's also a day to reflect on the resilience, strength, and unity of our nation. On that day, amidst the chaos and fear, we witnessed incredible acts of heroism, many of which you've already heard about today. First responders, our brave firefighters, police officers, paramedics, they rushed into danger without a second thought to save others, embodying the true spirit of courage and sacrifice. It's a word that we don't use enough. Ordinary citizens came together to help strangers in need, demonstrating the best of humanity in the face of unspeakable tragedy. We are blessed, and I thank God that I live in a free country. Our freedom is a precious gift, one that we often take for granted, but that comes with a great cost. Today, as we remember the impacts of the events of 2001, we also renew our commitment to safeguard that freedom. At L3Harris, we are taking action on each of the efforts and programs, each of the individual things that we do to protect our nation and to free our nation from future threats. The work we do every day ensures that our adversaries know today is not the day to attack the United States of America. Through vigilance, dedication, and a collective resolve, we protect the values that define us as Americans. We also take this moment to honor our veterans and first responders, these brave men and women who have dedicated their lives to protecting our nation both at home and abroad. Their sacrifices ensure that our children can grow up in a world where liberty and justice prevail. We owe them a debt of gratitude that can never be fully repaid. I was speaking with my children last night, and they're younger. My oldest is 13. They didn't understand how many sacrificed their lives to go into the buildings, to go out to the field, to go into places where we would think twice. They didn't understand. It's important that we pass down what we know and what we've seen and what we've witnessed to the generations behind us so that we as a nation would never forget. Thank you all for coming out today and for continuing to remember that our freedom is not free. It requires constant vigilance and sacrifice. I know we're not leaving immediately, but when we do leave this place, let us carry with us the memory of those who were lost on September 11th and the resolve to keep our nation strong, united, and free. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Mark. I'd like to take a few moments of silent remembrance while we raise and lower the flag in ceremony. And Melissa.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night
Melissa. That was beautiful. On behalf of Serve here in Florida, I want to sincerely thank each of you all for joining us today as we came together to honor and remember the lives lost, the heroes who stepped forward, and the resilience that continues to unite us. Your presence here shows the strength of our community and the importance of never forgetting. A special thank you to our guest speakers for sharing their words of reflection, and to Melissa for her moving performance. As we leave today, may we carry forward the spirit of unity, service, and remembrance in our everyday lives. Thank you again for your support and for being here to honor this day with us. Thank you. Special thank you to our first responders, Chief, Deputy Chief, we appreciate you being out here. In our traffic unit, thank you for keeping our streets safe.
If you guys can hang around for a second as well with our speakers after.